It's the next room. Okay, it's not the open air state. It's the next room where Sheena was in. The location, Agent Sheena, is of course the room you claim to have examined. I believe the room next to Mr. Cochin's office warrants a thorough inspection. Even if you do that, I doubt you'll find anything of use to you there. I will be the one to decide that. Detective Gumshoe! Yes, sir, I'm on it! I'll be right back after I check that room to the next to the office. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth? Do you really think that Agent Sheena is the Yatagarasu? If my logic is sound, I believe it is. Then I'm not gonna let her get away with ruining the name of the Yatagarasu. But can you prove she's the Yatagarasu is the question. If Detective Gumshoe can find what I'm hoping he will find, then I should be able to. And just what are you hoping to find? Let's just say this. I, Detective Gumshoe, do a little experiment for me earlier. An experiment? As if that detective has the brains for high science. It wasn't mentally taxing or anything. I just had him use the same escape route as the Yatagarasu. And what did you find out by doing that? First, that it's possible for that person to fit through the revolving wall door. Second, that by going through there, his coat was covered in ash and Bobbly's ink. Who cares what his coat was covered in? It's not worth that much anyway. Ah, but is it really worth so little? I believe it is actually quite a meaningful result, the value of which I'm about to prove. Mr. Edwards, sir! I found some things you really need to see, sir. Oh? So what are these things that you found? Some makeup, a coat, and a pair of shoes, sir! You found a coat? You hear that, Mr. Edwards? Maybe it's the one that the person I was chatting with was wearing. Yes, the possibility does exist. Agent Sheena, were these pieces of evidence not in that room when you examined it? Psh. Unfortunately for you, those aren't suspicious items of any sort. They all belong to me. They were getting in the way, so I stored them in that room. Aww. Thank you for bringing them to me. It saves me a trip. May I have them back now? Hold it! These items that the detective brought back are incredibly significant. I request we be allowed to examine them. They're my personal belongings, so you have no right to touch them without my permission. I wish to examine them for the sake of the investigation. But if you wish to deny us access to them, Agent Lang, let's hear your opinion on this. I say, let them look at your stuff, Sheena. Lang! Sheena, let's put it all out in the open. If you're really innocent, then you have nothing to worry about, right? I guess so. Alright, go ahead. Examine whatever you like. After all, I have nothing to hide. Good. Let us begin. The coat. Let's examine the coat. Yes, sir. It appears you managed to stain your coat rather badly. Agent Sheena. The Yatagarasu that Kay saw was wearing a coat. And I'm beginning to wonder if this stain wasn't created when you went through the fireplace. No, you have it wrong. That's it probably got on my coat when I was helping the police put out the fire. And what about this dark substance around the hem of your coat? Oh, I didn't realize that hem was that dirty. I'm sure it's just some water mixed with some soot when I was helping with the fire. I don't think so. You think you can get away with such a transparent lie? Yeah, don't lie to us, pal. This is the same pattern of that dirt that got on my coat when I went to the fireplace. Your words ring hollow in the absence of evidence, you know. So unless you can prove that that dirt on my coat is from that fireplace, which I can. How? You did a great job, Detective Gumshoe. Huh? Me, sir? What did I do? This coat? This is exactly the piece of evidence I was searching for. I had been hoping to find the coat that the person Kay saw was wearing. Thanks to you, we proved that going through the fireplace would sully a coat. I don't quite get what you're saying, but I'm happy for the praise, sir. All that remains is for us to show what that dark substance on the coat hem is. Oh, and you think you can do that? Of course I can. It's Bobbly's ink. Bobbly's ink. Yes, this is what will prove that the coat went through that fireplace. According to Ambassador Paleno, he burned some files in the fireplace this morning. You told us about that already, so I don't really see the point in mentioning it again. My point is that he spilled some ink into the back wall of the fireplace at that time. If the dark substance on this coat turns out to be Bobbly's ink, it would prove you and this coat went through the revolving fireplace wall. Sorry to clip one of your wings, Yatagarasu, but we're not finished yet. But you have no way of proving whether or not this is Bobbly's ink on the coat of him. Oh, but I do. I intend to show you that it is ink in a few seconds. How? Yes, well, since you don't seem to know, allow me to show you. This is how I have proved that dark substance on the coat is Bobbly's ink. Burn it. We can find out whether the coat is Bobbly's ink or not by lighting it on fire. Objection to the Broncos winning? Aye, Otter. Yes, if you could please cut a section of the dark stained area for me, I appreciate it. I mean, it was a pretty entertaining game, very high scoring, and you know, you got to see the gunslinger Jameis Winston in action, all the good and bad. Sheena, sorry to do this, but I'm gonna have to cut a bit off of your coat. Go ahead. I wasn't planning on wearing it anymore anyway. Now then, if someone could please loan me a lighter or something. Oh, I got matches. I always carry them with me so I can light smoke bombs. Then if you could please have one, Kay, we can get this experiment underway. The flame! It's the same color as the flame's white crystal oil produces, which means... Too many bad Niner news yeah. I mean, you know, when it rains it pours. I mean, it's not like it would change anything on the season at this point, regardless, but, you know, they need the rest at this point. Get a reset, come back healthy, with a better schedule, and we'll go from there. And hopefully they'll draft the right people that can help produce immediately. Yeah, the stuff about Trent is really bad considering that what already happened with Charvarius Ward and his daughter, so. I believe the time has come to clip the Yatagarasu's other wing. Nishina, you're the fake Yatagarasu, the one who killed my father. It's about time you came clean, Agent Sheena, or should I say, Callisto you. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, you're not serious, are you? Do I look like the joking type to you? Callisto you? I never heard that name before in my life. That manner of speaking and that attitude, you haven't changed a bit in 7 years. You're the defense attorney that killed Mr. Faraday and then tried to frame me for it. Oh, really? And you have proof? You insist that I am this Callisto you woman, but you can't prove it. If you have no proof, I'm afraid you won't be able to lay a single finger on me. The raven is a very unique bird, one that flies by the darkness of night. Life is fragile, you gotta hold on to it while you can. Yeah, you gotta seize the moments as well. Because you never know when it could end, or even not even start. However, the light of dawn has arrived and it will reveal your true ugly form to the world. Enough poetry. I want to see some evidence. Do we really have something that can prove she is Callisto you? I do. It's something that the second Yatagarasu has preserved for us these last 7 years. Do me the honor, Mr. Edgeworth. I will, Kay. For we have finally come to the end.
Take that!
This perfume, this will prove you to be Callisto you. It will? Kay has preserved it perfectly for us. Surely you remember this bottle. This belonged to Miss Yu just before she disappeared 7 years ago. Naturally, this means that a few of her fingerprints are on here as well. This is the bottle of perfume you spilled, which I have preserved ever since. I heard from my father, Bern Faraday, that if stored under the right conditions, a fingerprint can be reserved for decades. Which means that your fingerprints are still on here. Every last one. We can clear everything up if we were to compare the prints on this to your own. Now come, Agent Sheena. Will you submit yourself to a fingerprint test? Demon woman. He's fucking lost it? That's what happens when, usually that happens every time that you expose somebody. They just lose it and go Michael. Okay, Edward, you can kill this. We're not gonna kill her! We're gonna take her to justice and to jail. It looks like you have seen right through me yet again. You're sending the biggest chill down my spine, Mr. Edgeworth. Callisto you. So you've shown your true face at last. This feeling of thrill. It's even greater than that time 7 years ago. You're... Lang, I really enjoyed our days together. You're an insanely strong, nice, kind-hearted idiot of a man. Is she coming on to you now? I mean, look at her. She's like that femme fatale type of thing. So you were a spy all along? A mole sent by the smuggling ring I've been chasing after? Someone who's been feeding them intel on Interpol all this time? Very good. Maybe you're not as big of an idiot as I thought. Callisto you. The woman who killed my father 7 years ago. Time to be Batman and punish them by crippling them for life, but stopping just at not killing them. That's Batman. You're her, aren't you? The fake Yatagarasu. That's right, Callisto you. That is just one of my many names. But even that is just a facade. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am the great thief Yatagarasu. Callisto you, this time you will escape, or this is the end of the road for you. Now come along quietly. You know, you're the one who left the strongest impression on me, Kay Faraday. Had you not used the Yatagarasu's gadgets, I might have never known who you were. But here you are, being a thorn on my side, just like your father always was. Kay, don't! I'll never forgive you for what you did to my father. You idiot, you fell into a trap. You really are just like him. Mr. Faraday, to possess such laughable honesty. Hey! Ah! You let go of Kay, let go of Kay right now, pal! You despicable! Let go, you filthy... You think I'm a fake, don't you? Well, unfortunately for you, I'm the real Yatagarasu. But that's impossible. My father was the one who created Little Thief. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. The Yatagarasu has 3 legs. Do you know why that is? Why it has 3 legs? First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows how to disarm the security system. It can't be. Did you finally figure it out? Do you finally know the real identity of the Yatagarasu? The real identity of the Yatagarasu is neither Burn Faraday or Callisto U. But by the same token, they're also both the real Yatagarasu. Haha, how very perceptive of you. No way. The single person known as the Great Thief Yatagarasu never existed. Mr. Edgeworth, I refuse to believe this! The Yatagarasu is known to have 3 special skills. Skill number 1. The Yatagarasu always knows the location of the target object. And a lawyer would have the opportunity to learn the layout of client corporations. Skill number 2. The Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. And a good prosecutor would be well versed in the ways of a criminal. And skill number 3. The Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. Detective Bad! It was only natural for the Yatagarasu to never leave evidence behind. Because the lead detective on the case hid it all away. You're the 3rd member of the Yatagarasu? You. I've been looking for you for a long time. 7 long years, but I finally got you. Why, Mr. Bad, long time no see. What happened to us? We used to be such a great team. If you were such a great team, then why did you kill my father 7 years ago? Why indeed? It was nothing personal, really. He was just another person I had to kill. How can you say that? I grow weary of this. And it's about time for everything to come to an end. And this time, I won't miss. Wow, is she rusty? Stop! You! K! It's over, Sheena. Your leg! Agent Lang! You idiot! What do you think you're doing jumping in front of my gun like that? What are you risking your life for? I'm sorry, detective, but no matter what sort of past she may have had, or even if she is a spy, it doesn't change the fact that she is my subordinate. And as long as she is, I can't allow any harm to come to her, not even from you. This man's the ultimate simp, huh? You really are an idiot, you know that? Yeah, that's fine with me. You should know by now that this is just how I am. Hey sis. Yes? I want you to conduct a full body search. Sheena might have another weapon on her. Alright. Detective Gumshoe, your assistance, please. Sir! Hey, I found something. What is this, sir? It looks like the blade of a knife, but it doesn't have a handle. This is a great find, detective. Huh? It is, sir? Let's try pairing up with the blade with this handle. Take that! I believe this blade actually belongs with the handle that was on the murder weapon. Hey, they fit together perfectly! This blade must be taken from the crime scene where the crime handles, when the knife handles, were switched. I'm gonna return this Bobbly's knife now. Alright. I trust that you'll make sure that it is returned to Ambassador Paleno. I believe that makes it perfectly clear who did it. Callisto U. For the only time the knife handles could have been switched is just after Mr. Cochin's murder. Which means that you must have been Mr. Cochin's killer. You killed Mr. Cochin with the Alabastrian knife. And switched the handles, then took the original blade of Bavali's knife with you. Later, you allowed yourself to be spotted by Kay near the open air stage. You used the fireplace to lose her, and then you went back to accuse her of the murder. Does that about sum it up?
Objection.
You craft an engaging tale, Edgeworth, but there are two problems with it. Problems? In what respect? What do you think my real reason was in allowing her to chase after me? It was all I could do. It was all so I could capture Faye Faraday. What? When I saw you using that device at Gatewaterland, I knew right away that you were Bern Faraday's daughter. I became curious, so I researched a little into your background. That's how I found out that you were on the trail of the Yatagarasu. So that's why you tried to pin Mr. Cochin's murder on me. Yes, I knew you would show up at that embassy tonight. So I thought to use you, and pinning the murder on you. But pinning the murder on you wasn't my real goal, my only goal. You had another? Yes. Once I had you under arrest, I planned to search you, and take back the device that rightfully belongs to me, the true Yatagarasu. You were gonna take little thief away from me? 7 years ago, it was thanks to that device that Faraday was able to infiltrate this place. But he stole more than he should have. I had a tough time recovering that precious key. But then the person who stole the Yatagarasu's key was Mr. Faraday? You. That incident 7 years ago. What was the catalyst behind it? In the eyes of the smuggling ring, the Yatagarasu was becoming a bit of a problem. It wasn't an especially pleasant assignment. Then why? Why did you become a member of the Yatagarasu? Why? There is no why. I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. From the beginning? What's that supposed to mean? The person I take orders from hasn't changed, even now to this day. Does this mean that the leader of the smuggling ring wasn't Mr. Cochin? Then the real ringleader is out there pulling the strings! Are you done asking me what you need to know? Because if so, we should probably get going. And you're gonna tell me everything you did tonight. Do you understand, Sheena? I guess I should tell you then that I was the one who set the Bobblies embassy on fire. It really is, Ezra? No, it's not! And then why would you do that? I suppose it was to destroy all the evidence of the counterfeit bills. That's what the smuggling ring was trying to do. But then why start two fires? Sorry, but I can't tell you anything about the ring. It's your job to complete your investigation after all. I have my fun. Now it's your turn to enjoy the ride. Wait, I mean, Miss Sheena. Yes? When I fell to the floor earlier, these fell at my feet. What about them? They're such pretty hair sticks that I thought, well, that I should return them to you. You can have them. They're of no use to me anymore. I don't want them. If you don't want them, you can always just throw them away. No. I want to keep them. Suit yourself. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot, Edgeworth. About the second problem I had with your story. I didn't kill anyone tonight. What? I'm not saying that as a sore loser. Think of it as a hint, if you will. Dun dun dun! Mr. Prosecutor. Yes, Agent Lang. Mark my words. I'm not done here, and I'll be back. And it's got nothing to do with Dewey or anything, because this has become my personal case. I may have been shot, but I'll show you just how dangerous a wounded wolf can be. His anger seems to have negated the sensation of pain in his injured leg. It's not over, okay? I feel like I peered into her heart a little bit more, you know? And it's so cold and dark and so incredibly lonely. The person who was giving her all these commands. The one who thought my father was a problem to be removed. That person is the real ringleader behind the smuggling ring. Mr. Edgeworth, I have a favor to ask you. Hold on to these hair sticks for me. They're really pretty, just like the ones they were selling for the Jam and Ninja show. But until this case is over, I don't think I can look at them without being overcome. I understand. I'll take good care of them for you. There's a bit of soil stuck on the ends of these sticks. Oh, I guess it's that time already, huh? So it's midnight. The dawn of another day. Hey, Pops, thanks a bunch. You've really done a lot for everyone after all these years. Detective Bat, don't tell me today is the day. Ah, it is. With this, I can retire in peace. It was down to the wire and we almost didn't make it. But we did it. We solved everything. But that's just it, we haven't solved everything yet. The ringleader of the smuggling ring, you, the Yatagarasu, were chasing after. The legend of that Yatagarasu is now over. Mr. Edgeworth, that bit of logic earlier, it was brilliant. I feel like I can leave it all in your hands. I'm counting on you. Is that really true, Uncle Bad? Were you also part of the Yatagarasu? As I said to you earlier. Okay, I'm truly sorry. I wanted nothing but a peaceful life for you. Uncle Bad. Hey, don't take it so seriously. It's all just one big joke, right? Unfortunately, it isn't. Oh, come on, sir. She's just yanking on my chain, isn't she, Mr. Edgeworth? Detective Bad. Wait, no. You are no longer a detective. Mr. Bad, I'd like to ask you about the Yatagarasu. Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? Here, I should give these back to you. These are the pages from my KJ8 case files the Yatagarasu stole from my office. Wait, what? Mr. Edgeworth, I must apologize for last night. He was the one who stuck up Edgeworth? So the Yatagarasu stole into my room was you, was it? Wait, then that means... What? Tell me it's not true. That's too insane for me to believe, sir. It's true. Even if it's not something you want to hear. The KG8 incident. It was a very emotionally trying case. We stood in that courtroom, Faraday as prosecutor and I as the lead detective. Faraday had evidence in his possession that would prove the defendant guilty. However, because it was stolen, the defendant was found innocent. You was the elder sister of the victim in the case. When the defendant was pronounced not guilty, she let out a great wail. That's when we realized that there was a limit to what the law could do. The only way to bring someone like that to justice was to do so outside of the courts. That's what we thought at the time. That's how we formed the Yatagarasu and vowed to bring that to light. Any dirty dealings companies had with the ring, including companies that dealt with the Amano Group, Mr. Amano's conglomerate. We call ourselves the Yatagarasu and flexed our collective muscle. We exposed all sorts of shady dealings as a warning to the business world as a whole. By doing that, we were able to stop the higher-ups from covering up things. And then, it was finally time. We had finally arrived at the moment when we'd find out the ringleader's true identity. It was then that you, literally stabbed us in the heart, and Faraday, he died for it. But why? Wasn't she the sister of the victim in the KG8 incident? After Faraday's death, I looked into her past, and that's when I found out that she was a phony. The victim of the KG8 incident, CCU, she never had a sister. What? Then that means Sheena wasn't the only fake name she used. Callisto U was also another pseudonym. From the very beginning, that woman was a spy sent by the smuggling ring. She said it herself, I was destined to betray everyone from the very beginning. Anyway, let's return to the real topic at hand. Mr. Edgeworth, this trump card that we snuck onto this page of the case file, please use it wisely. Trump card. The photo that was stuck on there. Try peeling it off. Behind it slumbers a piece of evidence that Faraday hid away all those years ago. It's the mark of the Yatagarasu. But why? That is a directives card. A big boss. Take a look at the back. This was something Kochin had on him at the time of the KG8 incident 10 years ago. That blood. Is that the victim of the incident? Miss CCU? But why is the card adorned with the mark of the Yatagarasu? The reason why? We call ourselves the Yatagarasu? Did you hear Queen card? Queen Ka, I'm a Queen Ka. Was because of the three-legged raven mark that the smuggling ring's boss used. Apparently, orders from the boss would come on these cards without fail. The person who received the order was supposed to burn it immediately after reading it. And apparently, it burns a bright green flame when set ablaze. So you mean these cards were written in Bobbly's ink? The fact that the card that Mr. Kochin was sent made it into Mr. Faraday's hand at all is nothing short of a miracle. We decided that whenever we stole anything, we would send a card along with it to the police. So that's what these white cards are. The great thief used a mark that only those within the ring would know. It was our message to the ringleader that we were only a few steps behind. And one more thing, Detective Gumshoe. I'm trusting this to you. What is this, sir? This is what I was talking about earlier. During the KG8 incident trial, Faraday had this in his possession. This important, definitive piece of evidence. I thought it was stolen. How do you have it? The person who stole it from us 10 years ago was a man by the name of Ernest Amano. And he had it locked and hidden away for all this time. But we forced him to tell us where it was finally, after the other day's kidnapping case. This video. Don't come any closer, I'm warning you! This is the same video as the one Mr. Portsman was trying to conceal from me. Yes, it would seem that he was caught up in the ring's web. Amano was preparing to take on the boss someday. And that video was his assurance. That's where that prosecutor comes in. He was to retrieve the video. On top of that, he was apparently instructed to sneak into your office and steal the trump card. You saw it for yourself, right? The card that told him to preserve the evidence. Then that card was not the calling card of the Yatagarasu, but rather a directives card from the ringleader to Mr. Portsman. The two pieces together for a strong weapon for whoever holds them. The evidence Mr. Portsman thought to withhold from me, and the one you stole from my office last night. Both pieces are illegal, and for me to use either one is, whether you use them or not, is up to you. But they will be of help to you when you take on someone who is above the law. Is the boss one of those who cannot be brought to court that Mr. Faraday spoke of? Detective Bad. There is no limit to the law, for it is the people who determine the limits to them. You still insist that even now. You really are something else. I leave the rest in your hands. Now then, Detective Gumshoe, the handcuffs. It's time to lock up the last remaining member of the Yatagarasu. Pops, don't ever lose your detective spirit. Pops, why is this happening? This isn't justice. Like I always told you, do not get emotionally involved. Now let's go. Yes, sir! Is this really the end of the legend? Ladder, the videotape's testimony. Alright, we got through that with not much issue. Turns out there's another section. I thought that was gonna be like the end of it, but then there was a twist, and we have to find out the true smuggling leader, which is not Edgeworth. But we captured Callista Yu, brought her to justice, and found out who the Yatagarasu were. But now I need to get some rest. So thank you everybody. Otter, Mad, Lem, Kurt, everybody